Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Princeton, where in our open and welcoming community, we live our message of hope, love, justice, and joy. Whether you're joining us online or in Channing Hall, we're glad you are here. It is good to be together. We extend a special welcome to our visitors this morning and invite you to stop by our welcome table if you haven't already, so that we can answer your questions and get to know you. Again, welcome all. We're very happy that you're here. We have a few announcements this morning. First, the Promotions Committee is launching a new campaign so we can invite kindred spirits into our warm and welcoming big tent, and we could use your help. We want to collect short testimonials from a wide range of UU Princeton congregants that we could use on our website and in other places. And all you need to do is answer the question, why do you come to UU Princeton? In just 1 to 3 sentences. Kirsten Shearer will be in Robinson Lounge today after the service with paper copies of a short survey that you can fill out right away, and they'll also be in a box in the lounge for the next few Sundays. After service today, please come to the Founders Room and enjoy a brunch that's being put on by our Rainbow Ministry. The Rainbow Ministry works to make our congregation a welcoming home for LGBTQ plus people all the time. And this brunch is raising money to support social justice work, supporting queer people in our area, across New Jersey and beyond. So come, snack, talk, and get to know your rainbows. Our Rainbow Ministry also invites us to a discussion of the most banned book in the United States. The book is called Genderqueer, a Memoir, and it recounts the author's journey from adolescence to adulthood and the exploration of gender identity and sexuality with an ultimate identity choice outside the gender binary. This program is part of the Rainbow Ministry's renewal of our welcoming congregation certification from the UUA, our national denominational body. It's going to be next Sunday from noon to 1:30 in Foss Theater. Books are available out in Robinson Lounge. The cost is $13 with scholarships available. This coming Thursday, January 16th, in the Founders Room is our Women's Alliance monthly potluck lunch. The speaker this month is our own Beth Barron, a UU congregant and an active member of the Board of Education of the Princeton Public Schools. Beth will be joined by a colleague on the board, Susan Cantor, and they will host an informative conversation about Princeton Public Schools. All are welcome to attend the lunch at noon, followed by the program at 1. No RSVPs are needed, just come and join in the Founders Room. Our next Adult Faith Development Sunday morning program, titled The Bible, an Introduction, is being led by Reverend Bill, and it's going to meet starting next Sunday from 9 a.m. to 9:45 on next Sunday and the Sunday after, January 19th and 26th. All are welcome. You can sign up on our website under the Sign Up Genius tab. Also, as part of Leadership Leaves, which is the statewide UU Ministerial Sabbatical Support program that our congregation helped start back in 1967, Reverend Bill is leading worship this morning for our good people at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation at Montclair in support of their minister's sabbatical. If you want any information on Leadership Leaves, you can talk to myself, you can talk to Rev Bill, or Lauren Foss, who is our UU Princeton Leadership Leaves representative. We give and receive into that support network, and it is really important. And now, let us center, to reflect, to listen, to consider and reconsider, to feel deeply. We invite you to rest into a sense that we are not alone on a mighty quest, and that is this journey of life. Come, my friends, let us co-create yet again a sanctuary grounded in our truth-seeking, held within compassion. Compassion for ourselves, for one another, and the world. We invite you to bring in your individual burdens and longings as we seek to uncover in our midst new sources of hope. Come, let us journey together. Come, let us worship.
Out of the flames of fear, we rise with courage of our deepest convictions to stand for justice, inclusion, and peace. Out of the flames of scrutiny, we rise to proclaim our faith with hope to heal a fractured and hurting world. Out of the flames of doubt, we rise to embrace the mystery, wonder, and awe of all there is and all that is yet to be. Out of the flames of hate, we rise with the force of love, love that celebrates our shared humanity. Out of the Flames We Rise, by Sarah Eileen Lawal.
We hold in our hearts all of those impacted by the greater Los Angeles wildfires. We mourn the lives lost and send care to their families. We grieve with those who are displaced. May they find safe shelter. We worry with those whose businesses are lost. May they recover. We are grateful for the firefighters and all emergency responders. May they remain protected. And may conditions shift so that the fires can be contained and further threat relieved.
Spirit of life, ancestor of the stars and the sun, you who embrace the vastness of space and us along with it, be with us today. Hold us in our worry, our exhaustion, our grief. Keep us close as we may sit with our truth, whatever that may be. Lead us to rest in the quiet, to find solace and renewal in this time of shifting dark and light. You whose arms open with the spinning galaxies, help us to make room as you do for all that is. Open our hearts to our loved ones, our neighbors, the beings with whom we share this planet. Lead us to reach out to others in compassion. Turn us toward one another in mercy, right relationship, and reconciliation. You who have seen the rising and setting of suns, of seasons, of civilizations, remind us of all we have learned from the history of the world and from our own histories. Give us the courage to face our mistakes and to repair them whenever possible. Help us understand our interdependence, our gravitational relatedness with all the other spinning lives around us, and lead us to treat those relationships with care. Making Room for All That Is by Lynn Cox.
This reading is titled, I'm Adopting Cinderella's Motto, Have Courage and Be Kind, by Tessia Blake for Mariposa magazine. I had been acting on that motto without even realizing it, and it brought me only positive results. It's not easy for me to admit that, since I'm not exactly the most touchy-feely kind of person. Cute sayings fall flat on my ears. Any expression that's remotely adorable makes me roll my eyes. Cheesy phrasings sound like nails on a chalkboard. Yet Cinderella's motto from the 2015 Disney movie, a live-action reimagining of Charles Perrault's fairy tale, just makes sense to me. Have courage and be kind. It makes sense because I had been applying it before I even named it. I realized it was part of my life when I started watching my best choices and actions and labeling them. I started noticing the many moments in which I did something difficult, something I didn't think I could ever do, and how much courage it took me to get there. I started noticing the moments in which I connected with people the most, how stopping what I was doing to listen and to help anyone, resenting anyone for wasting my time, or without expecting anything in return, took a great deal of kindness. Coming to the realization that I was using a motto from a Disney movie version of a fairy tale was as surprising as it was revealing. It inspired me to reflect on it further. Every time I was brave to stand up for myself and for what I believed in, every time I made a choice or took action that required me to have courage, it always paid off. Having courage is not getting too comfortable. It's understanding your limits and setting boundaries. It's having high standards for what you want out of life and holding on to these standards, no matter how hard things get. It takes courage to be kind. Being kind is lowering your defenses and offering a friendly hand to those around you. It's offering your best side, even when you know there's so much about the world that's twisted and evil. Genuine kindness comes with a lot of vulnerability. Being kind is taking risks. Kindness is like a beacon that attracts all kinds of people, from good friends to those who won't hesitate to take advantage of you. That's where courage comes in, to make you strong enough to stand up for yourself, to help you make clear that your kindness doesn't make you a pushover. If having courage has helped me hold my head high in the face of adversity, being kind has also transformed my life for the better. Kindness to me means to not expect from people more than they can give. It means to gracefully accept what's freely offered. It means to make an effort to give just a little more of myself without expecting anything in return. Kindness forgives. It frees you from resentment and makes your life lighter. It doesn't mean you'll forget to the point of letting bad situations repeat themselves over and over, but it means that once the lesson has been learned, it's time to truly let go. Have courage and be kind is complex in its simplicity. It encompasses many valuable lessons in a few simple words. It's easy to remember, and it's essentially foolproof. It manages to combine the best sides of both strength and vulnerability into a guiding philosophy that allows you to be genuinely good while also standing up for yourself. I'm glad it occurred to me unintentionally, but I'm even happier it was already there for me to refer to when I needed it. Now, I remind myself of it as often as I can. Now, I plan to make it intentional. Have courage and be kind. Thanks for the lesson, Princess.
When I was 3 years old, I took my first ballet class. I grew up in a family of dancers. My mom was a professional ballet dancer for 5 years, and both of my siblings danced, my sister even doing ballet to a pre-professional level. It's safe to say I knew my way around a theater, as I spent most of my time there in Nutcracker season or during spring shows. I would watch the dancers weave together in combinations of steps, jumping, turning, and whirling across the stage. All I wanted was to be like them. So when I was finally old enough to take my first real class, I was very excited. The first time I met my teacher, she told me, "I'm so happy to have you in class. We are going to have so much fun." Now, I had been told over and over by my worn-out siblings after a long day of rehearsal that ballet was not fun. It was hard. This was apparently enough to make me sob, "I don't want to have fun. I want to do real ballet." No one in my family has let me live that down. Every year, I would audition for the Nutcracker or spring show, and I would get a small background part and be perfectly happy. I would imagine climbing the ranks and one day be the one others looked up to the same way I looked up to the Sugar Plum Fairy or Dancing Snowflakes. Last year, I got the chance to dance the lead in an original ballet by a few of my teachers. This was terrifying. I rehearsed every day and listened to the music as much as I could, but the scariest part wasn't that I would forget the steps or do the wrong part. It was that I would have to rehearse and perform with the older dancers. Everyone else looked so talented and strong, and I really thought I couldn't do it. That is, until one of the most talented girls I would be dancing with said a few simple words to me. "I can't wait to perform with you." That made all the difference. Slowly, my fear and anxiety turned to excitement and anticipation. On performance day, I was very anxious, but I was also very excited. I went through both shows without messing anything up, received encouragement from the older dancers and my teachers, and after the last show, one of the teachers came up to me with a young child who looked about 3 clinging to her arm. The teacher smiled at me and said she wanted to meet the girl who played the lead. I had a sudden feeling of pride as I knelt down and said, "My name's Scarlett. What's yours?"
So I want to extend our gratitude to Ben and Clem and Scarlett and Rachel for representing our children and youth ministry so amazingly well. Thank you for co-creating this service with us today. And we also extend an invitation to all of our children and youth. If this seems super cool, hearing from your friends and you thought, I could share something like that too, reach out to me or reach out to Reverend Bill. We would love to find ways to include you in our future service too. But first, can we just give a huge thanks? So when I was in first or maybe second grade towards the beginning of the school year, I befriended a boy in my class, and I think his name was Matthew. I remember he had a stuffed toy tiger, or maybe it was a yellow striped cat. And we would play together during free time, or it must have been indoor recess, creating a fort under the large table in the classroom. I'm not sure how I came to know this, if it was another child or children that actually said something to me, or if I just began to notice the general disregard, but a number of days later, I learned that the other kids thought Matthew was weird, and they wouldn't play with him. Why would I? I wish I could say I told those kids that Matthew was really nice and to not be mean, and why wouldn't I play with him? But I didn't. Likely I froze. I remember feeling really hurt and scared in that moment. I was a kid that was really fearful of doing anything that someone else perceived was wrong. And clearly to the rest of the kids, this was wrong. I'm not sure if I ever said anything to Matthew, but pressured by the rest of that class, I also distanced myself and I stopped playing with him because I didn't want to be weird too. I asked my mom this week if she could remember anything about a child named Matthew and what might have happened, knowing if I was just 6 or 7, there was only so much that my brain would have retained. And she wasn't aware of the story or what might have happened. I hadn't told her, a teacher hadn't told her. Yet as a mom might do, she held up the best in me and said it was really nice that I played with him, even if it was for a short while. But I still wish I had continued. I wonder what the teacher might have noticed in these interactions, if they noticed these interactions. I wonder if she had talked to me or he had talked to me, to Matthew. I vaguely remember the teacher's presence, but I don't know what may have been done to help Matthew or to help me or to dissuade the other children from being unkind. And I wonder what would have happened if I had told my mom, what wisdom and support she or other members of my family might have lent me. As we were talking, my story reminded my mother about a friend she had when she was in first grade, a girl that no one else would play with. My mom was quiet and she liked this girl because she didn't talk very much either, so they could be quiet together. It didn't matter to my mom that her friend wore the same dress to school every day because her friend only had that one dress. No matter how the other kids teased, nor the disdain she felt coming from some of the teachers towards this child because her family was impoverished, It didn't keep my mom from being her friend. She was quiet, so I don't think she made some big, spoken thing around it. She just continued that friendship. And it only ended because the little girl didn't return to school the following year. I'd like to think if she had known, my mom might have lent me some of her quiet courage. I wasn't so quiet, so maybe I would tell the other kids not to bully Matthew. Or maybe it would have given me the confidence to just not listen to them. I wished I had felt empowered to be weird friends together, especially now that I know the adjective weird from the late Middle English originally meant having the power to control destiny. In the 2015 film Cinderella, which Clem shared a bit about in our reading earlier, and it's worth watching if only to witness Helena Bonham Carter play the role of fairy godmother in all of her glorious weirdness. Love her. But before her untimely death, young Ella's mother said, "I have a secret that will see you through all the trials that life can offer. You must always remember this. Have courage and be kind. You have more kindness in your little finger than most people possess in their whole body, and it has power, more than you know." And this was advice Ella would need after the loss, untimely again, of her father, and the cruelty of her stepmother and stepsisters that would subject her to, including giving her the name Cinderella, a mark more permanent than any of those cinder ashes could be, a name that they gave her to signal difference and disdain and sought to remove her power and her humanity. Sadly, that part of the story isn't a fairy tale. We live in societies that try to press upon us their distinct markers of who has power and who does not, who is named fair and who ugly, who is good and who is evil. We live in a world that is literally on fire, where wars are being waged, where late-stage capitalism means healthcare and housing and nutrition are gatekept for profit, where bodily autonomy and civil rights are eroding as fascism pursues power structures across the globe. We come together in our spiritual community and with like-hearted members of our wider community to remind one another, as Ella says within this film, just because that is how things are done doesn't mean that is how they should be done. We don't know what may come in the coming weeks and months and years as the power balance shifts within our nation. And it is okay to feel whatever we are feeling around that and to honor it. And to paraphrase the spiritual teacher Ram Dass, whether this is the first day of the apocalypse or the first day of the golden age, the work remains the same: to love each other and ease as much suffering as possible. Our commitments remain as they always have been among us, including that when our children and youth let us know that they need us to show up for them, we will. When you need us to show up for you, we will. We will match the ferocity of their kindness and their courage as they speak truth to power and or ask us to take action on their behalf for anyone whose humanity and rights are threatened. Looking forward with hope nurturing our children and youth and amplifying their wisdom, continuing to place our shared values, including justice, equity, interdependence, and generosity at the forefront. Those are some of the most courageous acts we can do amidst systems that would rather us get so overwhelmed and do nothing. Kindness has power. May we flourish with it. Amen, and blessed be. So Clem and Scarlett and Ben and Courtney are coming around with some baskets. It's going to be a reverse offering. We're going to pass them out to you. They have little wooden birds in them, and we invite you to take one and hold it in your hands as we begin our closing ritual. And we'll take a moment just to make sure everyone gets one. Yep, you're going to pass it. Instead of someone putting something in, they'll take something out and then pass it to the next set. All right, so we should have birds and infuse them with a blessing. Please pass that bird to your right, or this person closest to your right area, so that someone gets a bird that's different than the one they are currently holding. All right. And now again, infuse a blessing of kindness and courage and love into the next bird you have. And once you've put that little blessing into the new bird, pass that to someone else. Could be to your right, it could be, it's just making sure you don't end up with the same bird again. It's okay if they get double blessed by someone, but I'm going to ask you to bless them one more time. One more little blessing into the next bird you have. Infuse it with some of the spirit you may have felt here today. What you would want someone to remember when they have that bird. Folks are still trying to figure out. It's great. And I'm going to make you do it one more time. This is the last time I want you to pass your bird and receive one bird so that everyone leaves with one bird that they didn't just bless. However it might work out. You might meet a new friend doing that. These birds flew a lot further than I thought they were going to. It's awesome. Is that an extra one? All right. So we invite you to take this little charm with you. You could put it in a pocket or a bag. It's to remind us of the power it is to be with us as people of courage and kindness, reminding us of our commitments to our children, to our youth, to one another, to ourselves, reminder that we are not alone in times of difficulty, when it's hard to be courageous or kind, and that our faith and our spiritual community are present even when we are not physically together. At the end of our hour, we extinguish our chalice, knowing that its light carries us until we gather again. If you have come today seeking peace, may comfort wrap you in its embrace. If you have come seeking inspiration, may you leave sustained to address the world's great unrest. Go forth from here, trusting in your worth and the value and dignity of all beings of which we are connected in the mystery and wonder of abiding love. Amen, and blessed be.